On July 22nd, GloRilla found herself locked up, and it wasn't even supposed to be about her. Cops hit her spot and ended up booking her on a felony marijuana charge after finding something stashed at the crib. But now, new jail footage just leaked. And let's be real, she don't look like a chart topper in that cell. Here's the wild twist. The police weren't even coming for GloRilla in the first place. That's what's really got folks in hip-hop heated. While the internet drools over her glam mugshot, the streets are asking what really went down that day and why was she the one that took the fall? Let's run this back from the jump, because the way this whole mess started got people furious. It's July 20th, 2025, around 1:30 in the morning, and 3 suspects roll up and break into GloRilla's crib in Forsyth County's St. Marlowe subdivision. But here's the twist that had the internet buzzing.
Everything just always everything. At the end of the day, that they gonna end.
Yeah, hello. and it's all the truth though. You hit her with the purse.
JT snubbed her off, like in a very nasty, catty way, like rolled her eyes at her and ignored her. And GloRilla went in to try to speak and kind of give her a hug, and JT kind of gave like...
Glo wasn't even in town. She was out in Indianapolis, shutting down the WNBA All-Star halftime show, bringing that Memphis heat to the court and hyping up players like Angel Reese on the sidelines. Meanwhile, back at the house, things got real when a family member pulled out the heat and fired shots to scare the intruders off. They dipped, but not before snatching up some jewelry. Nobody got hurt, thank God. But what happened next flipped the whole narrative upside down. When cops pulled up to investigate the break-in, they said they smelled weed in the house. And that's when everything changed. Instead of chasing down the fools who actually broke in, they pivoted, got a search warrant, and went digging through GloRilla's place. They claimed they found over an ounce of marijuana in her master bedroom closet, plus a Schedule I controlled substance. Fast forward 2 days, July 22nd. GloRilla walks into Forsyth County Jail and turns herself in. She got slapped with felony charges for the weed and that substance, dropped a $22,260 bond, and walked free the same day. But let's keep it real. This ain't just about what they found. It's about how the victim of a home invasion ended up being the only one arrested, while the ones who actually broke in, still out there chilling like nothing happened. GloRilla didn't just sit back and let the internet spin the story. She spoke up loud and clear. Her response lit up social media and had folks rallying behind her fast. She hit X and broke down exactly what went down, and the way she laid it out had people heated over how law enforcement moved. My house got home invaded Saturday while I was in Indianapolis performing for the WNBA All-Star game, and instead of looking for the suspects, they focused on some cannabis. Boom. She kept it simple and straight to the point, listing out 3 facts that had the timeline in a frenzy. So no, I wasn't busted. My house got robbed. I wasn't home. Long story short, my house gets home invaded and I'm the one that ends up arrested. That post exploded. Over 60,000 likes, thousands of reposts, and fans from all over the country were calling it out for what it looked like. Law enforcement doing everything but their job. GloRilla's legal team wasn't playing games either. Her attorneys, Drew Findling and Marissa Goldberg, came out swinging, calling the arrest a disturbing example of how twisted law enforcement's priorities have gotten. Instead of tracking down the ones who kicked in her door and terrified her family, cops were busy sniffing around for weed. In a state where it's still illegal, but definitely not unheard of. What really fired people up was the timing. GloRilla wasn't laying low or causing trouble. She was literally out of town working, on stage at a national event, performing at the WNBA All-Star Game, hyping up the crowd, repping Memphis, and showing love to her city. She was making moves, not hiding anything. And while she's turning up crowds and making headlines for her talent, her name's getting dragged back home for a charge she didn't even catch firsthand. Fans weren't just mad, they were disgusted. Criminals broke into her home, and somehow she's the one that ends up in cuffs. The internet didn't waste a second. Fans came out swinging, and it was loud. The love for GloRilla ran deep, and the support hit every corner of social media. People weren't just reacting, They were outraged. Platform after platform echoed the same energy. How did a victim end up booked? Sympathy for Glo, disgust at the system, and a demand for justice that actually made sense. Twitter turned into a full-on war zone of support, with tweets hitting tens of thousands of likes. So you mean to tell me GloRilla's house gets robbed, and they serve her a search warrant? Let that sink in. An arrest warrant over weed when she wasn't even home? That's wild behavior, and fans weren't letting it slide. One post summed it up perfectly. Then they arrest Glo over some weed while she wasn't even at the crib? That comment exploded, because everyone felt the same way. Another viral post read, GloRilla's house got hit by 3 burglars while she was gone. Cops show up, find weed, and she's the one who ends up arrested. That post racked up over 19,000 likes and 2,600 reposts. But this wasn't just folks defending Glo. It was bigger than that. Fans were calling it what it looked like, a textbook case of the system, having its priorities all messed up. How are the burglars still free? Names unknown, while the victim is the only one catching charges. Comments like, they'll do anything to bring you down, and they had no business searching anything when people stole from her, showed how deep fans were connecting this to something bigger. The way Black women and Black artists keep getting played by the system. But even through the outrage, hip-hop's signature mix of truth and humor came shining through. That resilience, that's what makes the culture so unshakable. People were dragging the system and cracking jokes in the same breath. Memes popped up everywhere. One post had folks crying, "Wait, did I read that right? Somebody burglarized GloRilla's house and she got arrested?" It was funny, because it was insane. So they saw a little weed and arrested her, even though she wasn't even home? Huh? The jokes kept rolling, but the deeper message was clear. This whole thing was backwards. And when you zoom out, GloRilla's arrest wasn't just a one-off. It fits a pattern that's got fans raising eyebrows for real. This was her second run-in with Georgia law enforcement in just 15 months. And both times, it was about drugs. Both times, fans felt like she was being targeted, singled out, or just plain treated unfairly. The first time Glo made headlines legally, April 2024, that one started with what sounded minor, a traffic stop in Gwinnett County for an illegal U-turn at a red light. But what went down next? Internet legend. The body cam footage from that DUI arrest blew up. Not because of the charge, but because of how Glo handled herself. She wasn't making it easy for the cops, and her unfiltered attitude had folks cracking up, and others straight up cringing. Her energy was raw and unforgettable. That moment turned into straight meme fuel. But it also said a lot about how fame plays out when you're face to face with the law. The officer's cold response, "No, I don't." That hit hard. Some folks laughed at the reality check. Others felt bad. Glo was in a mess where not even her status could save her. Fame meant nothing in that moment. During that whole stop, GloRilla kept insisting she was good to drive, even though officers said they smelled both alcohol and weed. The body cam showed her stumbling through sobriety tests and even dealing with what folks called a wardrobe malfunction. Still, she swore up and down she wasn't drunk. That case ended without her doing any jail time, but the exact details, like fines or probation, were never made public. But now fans are starting to connect the dots. Both of her run-ins with the law happened in Georgia, and Georgia ain't exactly chill when it comes to drug charges. Their laws are still way tougher than most places. So when you've got an artist like Glo, born in Memphis, but spending real time in the Atlanta area, 2 back-to-back cases in the same state, it's starting to look like more than just bad luck and way more like a pattern. But before diving any deeper into GloRilla's legal track record, let's clear up one wild rumor that a lot of folks still don't realize was fake. The whole 3 years in prison for stealing cereal from Kmart story. Yeah, that one. It all came from a joke. A satirical interview she did in 2023 with Funny Marco on his YouTube series. During the bit, Marco tossed out a random story about cereal theft, and GloRilla ran with it, just playing along for laughs. But the internet took it dead serious. Fans started spreading it like it was fact, and by April 2023, the fake prison story had gone so viral that Glo had to step in herself and shut it down. One joke turned into a whole fake criminal history overnight. GloRilla jumped on X and shut the whole thing down. She posted, "You SRsly sat up there and believed I went to jail for 3 years for stealing cereal and dats? Y'all hearts be light today cause y'all believe whatever AMF tell you." You could feel the frustration. She was heated that folks actually fell for something that obvious. What started as a joke turned into a full-blown internet lie, and Glo had to waste time clearing it up, and that's the part that hit different for fans. Female rappers already deal with enough when it comes to real legal battles. Now they also gotta fight off fake prison stories. While she's facing legit charges and handling actual court stuff, she's also forced to clap back at straight-up nonsense the internet runs with. No facts, just vibes. It's exhausting, and it shows how quick people are to believe anything when it comes to black women in hip-hop. GloRilla's no stranger to controversy, cause once you're in that spotlight, everything you do gets picked apart. From rap beefs with other female artists to getting dragged over lyrics and old posts, she's had to move through the kind of drama that comes with blowing up fast in hip-hop. One of the biggest lyrical slip-ups, a song preview where she dropped a word fans called out for being ableist. The backlash was real, but instead of doubling down, Glo switched gears. She revised the track and showed she's open to growth when folks speak up. And then came the looks drama. Old clips of her getting glammed up resurfaced, sparking claims that she was a catfish. Suddenly, the timeline was flooded with people debating her appearance, like her glow-up was a crime. It wasn't just criticism, it was another reminder of how women in rap can't win either way. When it came to all the beauty talk, GloRilla didn't fold. She clapped back by embracing her natural look and brushing off the hate. But the whole thing just showed how female artists get judged on everything. Not just the bars, but the face, the fit, the vibe, all of it. Even her wins came with backlash when she took home the Doctor, Bobby Jones' Best Gospel Inspirational Award at the 2025 BET Awards for Rain Down on Me. The gospel world flipped. Some traditional fans and artists were furious. They felt like a secular rapper had no business walking off with gospel honors. That kicked off a whole debate about what gospel even means now. Gospel singer Dietrich Haddon called it discouraging and disappointing, saying the genre needed a full-on overhaul. Glo didn't even ask for all that. But once again, her name stirred up the entire game. One thing's crystal clear, GloRilla's had to build thick skin fast. Fame at her level ain't just spotlight, it's constant judgment from every angle. From fake prison rumors to real-life arrests, from getting blasted over lyrics to sparking debates with that gospel award win, she's been catching heat non-stop. And through it all, she's still rising, still locking in with fans, still pushing through the noise, every controversy, every headline, every clapback. It's all added layers to who Glo is in the public eye. But trust, this latest legal mess, it's just one chapter. As we go deeper, you'll see how it connects to a bigger pattern, explosive feuds, personal fallouts, and wild industry moments that have tested her, shaped her, and made her one of the most talked about names in the game. The most explosive drama GloRilla ever got tangled in, her all-out feud with JT from City Girls, and this one had everything. Rap beef energy, social media chaos, sneak disses, personal jabs, and messy accusations flying nonstop. Fans were locked in for weeks, watching it all unfold. What made it even wilder? It all started off as just rumors, and then spiraled into a straight-up lyrical war. No studio collab, just internet warfare, and tension so thick you could cut it with a mic. It all traces back to October 2023 when podcast host Armin Wiggins stirred the pot on the wrap-up. He claimed GloRilla approached JT at the MTV VMAs with good energy, but JT shut her down cold. That moment if it even happened, sparked a feud that would blow way past DMs. Allegedly, things got physical, with claims that GloRilla slapped JT or maybe even threw something at her. But no footage ever surfaced, and a lot of folks brushed it off as just podcast gossip. Still, the story took off online like wildfire, because in hip-hop, truth don't always matter. The drama moves faster than the facts. Once the rumor hit the internet, it didn't matter if it was true. It became part of the narrative. Fans picked sides, spun their own versions of what really happened, and suddenly both GloRilla and JT couldn't go anywhere without being asked if they had beef. Things stayed low-key tense until April 5th, 2024, when Glo dropped her mixtape, A Thing, and on it, a track called 8 took direct aim at the situation. One lyric stood out: "Me and JT ain't the best of friends, but we ain't beefing, and real ones always keep honor where they keep a secret." Glo meant it as a peace move, trying to shut down the drama and move on. But JT, she saw it as Glo milking the situation for clout. And what really pushed her over the edge was how those bars lined up with other shade Glo had already thrown. Once the drama hit the internet, it was game over. It didn't matter what really happened. Fans ran wild, picking sides and spinning their own versions of the story, while both GloRilla and JT had to dodge constant questions about whether there was real beef. Things stayed simmering until April 5th, 2024. That's when Glo dropped her mixtape, A Thing. And one track, 8, lit the fuse. The lyrics went, "Me and JT ain't the best of friends, but we ain't beefing. And real ones always have honor. They keep a secret." Glo meant it as damage control, trying to take out the rumors and move forward. But JT, she wasn't buying it. She felt like Glo was feeding the fire for clout. And what really pushed her over the edge was how those bars lined up with other subtle shots Glo had already thrown. JT wasn't letting anything slide. She pointed out that Glo had already stirred the pot before, like in the FNF Let's Go remix, where she referenced slapping rappers. JT saw that as messy and felt it only added fuel to the rumors. Then, a fan dropped a comment asking if GloRilla really slapped JT at an award show, and boom, that was like striking a match in a room full of gasoline. JT snapped on Twitter, and her response? Straight fire. "She never slapped me, ever, ever, never," she tweeted. "Y'all find someone else to play with." But she didn't stop there. JT went for the jugular, calling GloRilla sneaky, messy, and phony. She accused her of switching up on friends and using drama to get attention. It wasn't just denial, it was a full-on character check in front of the whole internet. JT didn't hold back. She said Glo came into the game messy, phony, and quick to flip on her own people. She even tied it to behind-the-scenes drama around the FNF remix, hinting it stirred tension in Glo's own circle. Then it got ugly, fast. JT went personal, clowning Glo's looks and background. "Ugly shouldn't leave your mouth ever," she wrote. "You look like you were born feet first." She even dropped a cryptic pic of her own mugshots with a blank spot, like she was ready to throw hands if it came to that. GloRilla didn't sit quiet either. She clapped back with some now-deleted tweets that proved she wasn't scared of the smoke. "Shut your dumb A up and fix them ugly wigs," she fired off. This wasn't just rap beef. It was a full-on digital brawl with real-world tension bubbling underneath. GloRilla accused JT of hiding secret animosity, like she'd been faking love the whole time. When JT tried to shut down the slap rumors, Glo clapped back with a slick jab. "I mentioned your name to clear the air. What do you want me to say? I didn't slap you, but wanted to." The back and forth got way hotter. Glo started threatening to pull up at JT's shows and threw shade at her mugshots, saying, "Them mugshots from stealing, not fighting." At that point, both were calling each other corny, scary, fake. And the internet was eating it up. What made this feud hit different? It wasn't just about two rappers arguing. It played right into the deeper mess female rappers face. Fans are used to seeing women in hip-hop pit against each other, but this time, social media took a petty spark and turned it into a full-blown wildfire. The firestorm only lasted about a day on Twitter before both GloRilla and JT eased off, but by then, the damage was already done. Public perception had shifted, and the internet didn't forget. During a red carpet interview, Glo got asked about the whole blow-up and gave a short, clear answer. No theatrics, just kept it pushing. Later on, she clarified things even more, saying, "Me and JT ain't the best of friends, but we ain't beefing," hinting they'd squashed the mess, or at least decided to leave the drama right where it belonged, in the past. JT hasn't publicly pushed back on Glo's version of events, and since then, no new subs, no sneak disses, just silence. But the reaction from fans? All over the place. Some felt like the drama was unnecessary and pulled focus from the music both artists were trying to drop. Hip-hop blogs framed it as another case of Stan Wars spiraling, turning online gossip into real-life tension between two rappers who might not have even had a real issue to begin with. Some blamed Glo for fanning the flames with those lyrics. Others said JT took a peace offering and flipped it into beef. Either way, things finally cooled off. But if you thought that was messy, just wait. Glo's next controversy tested her real-life friendships and showed how one reckless moment can flip everything upside down. One Instagram story, that's all it took to set off another storm. In May 2025, GloRilla found herself in serious hot water with none other than Megan Thee Stallion, one of her closest friends and collaborators, over what looked like a harmless post. The problem? It involved Tory Lanez, who was convicted back in December 2022 for shooting Megan in the feet. That case left deep scars, and it's still one of the most sensitive topics in hip-hop. On May 21st, Glo reposted a quote to her Instagram story with Tory Lanez's 2015 track YDR playing underneath. To some, it seemed random, but to fans who knew the history, it felt like a slap in the face. The backlash was instant and heavy. The timing couldn't have been worse. Megan had just gone live on Instagram, venting about still being harassed by Tory Lanez supporters. So when GloRilla, a close friend, posted anything tied to his name, it felt like betrayal to anyone really paying attention. And the reaction? Instant. Within hours, fans noticed Megan had unfollowed Glo on Instagram and started wiping traces of their friendship. Screenshots showed deleted or archived posts, including a birthday tribute to Glo that had once felt heartfelt for fans who'd been watching them support each other on stage, in interviews, behind the scenes. This hit hard. They weren't just industry peers, they looked like real friends, and suddenly it all seemed to fall apart. GloRilla deleted the story fast, but it was already too late. Social media erupted with drama, and Megan's fan base, the hotties, came for Glo with no mercy. They called her ungrateful, fake, and a straight-up snake, especially since Megan had helped elevate her career big time. Posts like Megan's bestie GloRilla just posted a Tory Lanez song on IG were racking up thousands of likes and triggering heated debates. Fans weren't just mad, they felt betrayed. People were quick to remind the timeline. Megan had put Glo on the Hot Girl Summer Tour, featured her on major records, and publicly showed love. So for Glo to post anything linked to Laney, to many, it wasn't just tone deaf, it was disrespectful. GloRilla knew she had to move fast before things got completely out of hand. On May 22nd, 2025, she hopped on her Instagram stories to set the record straight, calling it an innocent repost and claiming she had no idea the track playing was by Tory Lanez until fans started pointing it out. "Innocent repost, I don't do mess," she wrote, making it clear she meant no shade toward Megan. In a follow-up, she added, "I didn't know what song was playing in the background until everybody said something. I deleted it as soon as I seen the comments." She didn't stop there. Glo refollowed Megan and even reposted their old joint content, trying to show love and signal that she wanted to fix the fallout before it got worse. To some, GloRilla's explanation made sense. With so much music floating around, it's easy to repost a track without catching every detail. But to Megan's hardcore fan base, it sounded like a weak excuse. How do you not know what song you're posting, especially when it involves someone who hurt your friend? Megan never addressed it publicly, which honestly was probably the smartest move. Her actions said enough. the unfollow, the removed posts, then the quiet refollow. Sources close to Megan said she was still guarded, especially after everything with Tory, and described the unfollow as a knee-jerk reaction, not the end of their friendship. On the surface, the controversy blew over fast. No more public jabs, no lingering drama. Behind the scenes, reports confirmed the two did speak privately and cleared the air. And by July 2025, both were still following each other. No smoke, no shade, just moving forward. This whole situation was a reminder of how tricky friendships can get under the spotlight, especially when trauma and legal battles are part of the mix. One careless IG story turned into a full-blown controversy, proving that in the industry, even the smallest post can blow up fast. For GloRilla, it was a hard lesson in context. How everything you post gets picked apart, and how being online with a platform means you gotta think twice every time. These moments have reshaped how Glo navigates friendships in the game and how she moves on social media. They've also built her rep as someone real enough to face things head on instead of letting tension simmer in silence. And as we head into the next chapter, the storms only get wilder. All the drama, backlash, and viral moments have shaped more than just GloRilla's headlines. They've influenced her growth as an artist and how she plans to last in hip-hop. Her come-up? It's been wild, but the foundation runs deep. From singing in Memphis church choirs to grabbing Grammy nods and BET awards, Glo's journey is nothing short of incredible. And through it all, she stayed grounded, evolving in public while holding tight to where she came from. Born Gloria Hallelujah Woods on July 28, 1999, she came from humble beginnings that left a real mark on both her character and her music. That early church choir training, it gave her the stage presence and vocal control that makes her live shows hit different, pure raw talent with roots in something real. GloRilla's shift from singing to rapping wasn't a choice, it was survival. At just 16, she lost her singing voice due to illness. But instead of walking away from music, she pivoted. She took that church-grown vocal strength and Memphis rawness and poured it into rap. That setback, it became her superpower, building the kind of resilience that would carry her through everything that came next. Her rap journey started in the underground Memphis scene, where she dropped her debut mixtape, Most Likely Up Next, in 2019, followed by the EPP status in 2020. These early drops built her local buzz and helped shape her unique sound. But the real game changer came in April 2022, when she dropped FNF. That track didn't just make noise, it exploded, flipping her from hometown name to national breakout overnight. Let's Go featuring Hit Kid became the breakout anthem, and the massive success of FNF led to GloRilla signing with Yo Gotti's collective music group, CMG, in July 2022. That move gave her the machine behind the movement, resources, connections, and a direct line into Memphis's deep hip-hop legacy. With CMG backing her, Glo didn't slow down. Her rise stayed steady through 2022 and 2023. And in 2023, she earned a spot on the coveted XXL freshman class, officially stamping her as one of hip-hop's fastest rising stars. Her EP, Anyways, Life's Great, dropped like a statement and peaked at number 11 on the Billboard 200, proving Glo wasn't a one-hit wonder, but here to stay. And her follow-up collabs with major names, they showed she could hold her own next to the big leagues without ever losing that raw, unapologetic Glo energy. Her track, Tomorrow 2 with Cardi B, didn't just make waves. It cracked the Hot 100 Top 10 and went double platinum, officially leveling her up. Then came Wanna Be with Megan Thee Stallion, a top 40 smash that turned into a full-blown summer anthem. But these weren't just hits, they were moments. GloRilla proved she could stand toe-to-toe with the biggest names in rap and still keep her voice front and center. Then in October 2024, she dropped her debut studio album GloRilla. It peaked at number 1, 5 on the Billboard 200, and scored the highest first-week sales for any female rapper that year. The critics called it a Memphis manifesto, a bold, unapologetic statement that blended street grit with mainstream shine. Glo wasn't chasing trends, she was setting them. Lately, GloRilla's been showing the world she's more than just bars. She's got range. Tracks like Typa and Rain Down on Me, featuring gospel giants Kirk Franklin and Maverick City Music, prove she's not afraid to cross genres while keeping that Memphis soul intact. Rain Down on Me became a major moment, earning her the Dr. Bobby Jones Best Gospel Inspirational Award at the 2025 BET Awards. And while the win stirred up controversy, it also marked a bold step in her evolution as an artist. Meanwhile, her live performances, legendary. Her 2025 WNBA All-Star Game halftime show was described as electrifying. The energy was off the charts. Even players like Angel Reese couldn't stay still, caught on camera dancing their hearts out from the sidelines. Glo doesn't just perform, she commands the crowd. GloRilla's live shows hit different. Her natural charisma turns every stage into a full-blown party, a gift that traces all the way back to her church choir roots. Her glorious tour, which ran from March to July 2025, proved just how far she's come as a performer, selling out venues across the country and showing fans she's more than a viral name. Of course, it wasn't all smooth. Her St. Louis stop got cut short after multiple fights broke out in the crowd. But even with the chaos, the tour made one thing clear. Glo can own a major stage and hold down headline status, and the recognition kept rolling in. In March, she won Hip Hop Artist of the Year at the iHeartRadio Music Awards, using her acceptance speech to send a loud message to her critics. She's here, and she earned every bit of it. GloRilla didn't just rack up awards, she celebrated her entire journey while doing it. In April, she received the Powerhouse Award at Billboard Women in Music, honoring her dominance in 2024 and the cultural waves she's made. But behind the fame, her personal life has become a big part of her story, especially her bold decision to embrace celibacy. She's kept it real and funny while sharing it online. In November 2024, she announced she was single and celibate until God send me my husband, turning what started as a 90-day challenge into a full-on faith-based lifestyle shift. The journey began in January 2024 with that original 90-day goal.
JT and GloRilla got into a fight or some sort of tussle backstage at the 2023 VMAs this year. Yes, girl. The girls were fighting at the VMAs backstage. We all thought it was going to be Nikki, Cardi, and Meg, and really it was GloRilla and JT duking it out backstage, but the girls were kind of keeping it.
And as always, Glo documented it with her signature humor. It wasn't just about discipline, it was about self-worth, faith, and staying in control of her narrative. By day 9, Glo had the timeline crying. She tweeted, "Started my 90-day celibacy Lil for New Year's or WTV. I'm on day 9 and my vision blurry AF. Send help." She was clearly joking, but also keeping it 100 about the mental and physical grind. By day 30, the temptation hit hard. Listen, I reached day 30 of my celibacy, and y'all on here posting all these positions is none but the devil. Get D behind me, Satan, she wrote. Fans loved it because she wasn't fronting. She made celibacy relatable with jokes that hit and truth underneath it. But her commitment was serious. Glo later made it clear, not seeing nobody, not dating nobody, not linking, talking, nothing until God send me my husband. No flings, no games, just faith, focus, and waiting on something real. GloRilla's commitment reflects the Christian values she was raised with and her belief in waiting for the right person. In February 2025, she took things even further by launching a 30-day wellness challenge, no sex, no alcohol, and working out at least 3 times a week. It wasn't just about celibacy anymore. It was a full reset, and Glo used her platform to motivate fans to lock in on their own goals and level up mentally, physically, and spiritually. The response? Nothing but love. Fans praised her for being real, not preachy, and her transparency became a source of inspiration. Social media lit up with stories from followers starting their own challenges. Even media outlets picked it up, calling it a rare mix of faith, discipline, and glow-style humor that made self-growth actually feel fun. GloRilla's been refreshingly open about the struggles and benefits of her celibacy journey. And that honesty has made her even more relatable. While she's kept it real about growth and standards, she's stayed private when it comes to actual relationships. That hasn't stopped the rumor mill from spinning. Back in 2022, she was linked to Drake, then to NBA star Damian Lillard in 2024. But both quickly shut it down, saying they were just friends. No sneaky situations, no secret flings. More recently, fans started buzzing after a very flirty interview with Speedy Mormon from Complex. Clips had people speculating hard, but again, no receipts, no confirmation. Glo keeps the focus on herself, her goals, and her values, while the world keeps guessing who might be trying to slide past that celibacy wall. What's clear is this: GloRilla's single status hasn't held her back. If anything, it's fueled her. Her commitment to celibacy isn't just about waiting for the right one, it's about locking in, staying focused, and dodging the distractions that often trip up young artists who blow up fast. She's also hinted at some bold family ties in the industry, claiming to be related to both Cardi B and Lil Uzi Vert. The claims haven't been verified, but real or not, it shows how Glo sees the game. Hip-hop isn't just music, it's community. Whether it's blood, bond, or business, Glo understands the value of relationships and how loyalty and connection move things behind the scenes just as much as talent. Despite her recent legal drama, including the July 2025 arrest, GloRilla hasn't lost a step. She pushed forward and kept her Glo Bash concert in Memphis rolling on July 25th, proving she's built for pressure and loyal to her fans. From church choirs to chart hits, from surviving home invasions to headline stages, the Memphis rapper isn't just rising, she's unshakable. She's gone toe-to-toe with trolls, critics, and Grammy snubs, all while building a career rooted in authenticity. Through every headline and high, GloRilla proved that realness still wins. She's what hip-hop looks like when it keeps its roots and still reaches for the crown. That's it for now. Hit that subscribe, drop a like below, and let us know your thoughts in the comments.